So you move in with this man. You're going into it thinking you won't be cooking and cleaning because I'm not a housewife. But then guess what? There's no food in the fridge. There's no food in the fridge. Guess what's in the fridge? 1 beer and peanut butter. Okay? And some of his fucking protein shakes and meats. Okay? There is gonna be no core food groups in the fridge, bro. We're making another video. And once again, we're going to get straight into it and we're not going to waste any time. Because here on The Thought Bunny, TTTTB, The Thought Bunny, we don't waste people's time. Okay, so you've been taught about the confines in the beauty and the pleasures of marriage by the male population, and that is why women are going about it all wrong. Now, this all came to me last night, sort of in a dream, right? This all came to me in a dream. So I wrote it all down today to share with you some secrets. Okay, first things first. There's this sort of phenomena that I didn't think of, but that I am compounding on. So essentially everyone talks about, oh, you fall in love 3 times in your life, right? They say this about men and women. You have the big 3 loves, right? And a lot of men will lie. And when they settle down and get married with the one, they will pretend like those other 2 loves or the previous woman they fell in love with doesn't count. They will pretend and make you think that, oh, you might fall in love multiple times in your life, but no, when you meet me, Mr. Prince Charming, I'm the one. And those other people don't count. Okay, that is what he will tell you. But that's a lie, okay? Men, and I think women too, but I won't speak for them. Men love the 3 big loves an equal amount. Whoa, I'm blowing your mind right now. Men love their 3 big loves the same quantitative amount each time. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres, right? They love each woman the same. The reason that they chose the 3rd or the 2nd woman, right? Because sometimes the longest marriage is actually the 2nd wife, which I'll get into later. I'm going to talk all about the 3 wives, okay? He loves each woman the same, right? But the 3rd/2nd woman, the woman that he settles down with and has kids with, that's just the woman that he happened to be the most compatible with. Are you understanding, okay? Women and men, we have the 3 big loves. We fall in love multiple times in our life. We fall in love hard each time. It's not like, oh, the man I settled down with, oh, that love was so much bigger than the guy I, used to ride on his motorcycle with in college. No, you loved them all the same. You just were more emotionally and biologically compatible with the person you settled down with. Are you understanding? Men weed out through the women like a gardening hoe, no pun intended, and choose the one that is going to satisfy them the most in life, okay? So that is a big misconception. Okay? Next star on the list. Star, okay? If you're not benefiting from a relationship, it should not become serious. Now, this video is talking about marriage / heavily committed relationships, okay? And I'm a big advocate for you should not move in with a man that you are not married to, because for one of 2 reasons. Number 1, he's going to dangle the carrot of marriage in front of your face, and you could end up like doing the whole Vanessa Hudgens, Austin Butler thing where you date him for 9 years, no ring. You could just end up wasting your time if you move in with him. Second reason is that you could end up becoming his mother / overcompensating roommate, and you will end up cleaning the apartment, and you might end up cooking for him and picking up all of these duties, paying the rent when he can't, and you didn't need to be doing that in the first place. And you're also going to end up, when you live with a person, you end up doing so much more stuff for them, Okay, think about your family. How much stuff does your family do for you because you live with them? It's like having a child. Men are like children, okay? And if you live with this man, you are going to end up extracting, okay, think of your feminine energy or just your life energy from your life force, your personhood as an orb. Actually think of it as this water bottle, okay? This is how much energy you have in your spirit and your soul. But if you move in with a man before marriage, you're going to end up left with this much energy because all of this that you initially had has now been wiped out because you are pouring it into your relationship with him. But if you lived on your own and you each had your own apartment before he proposes, you could, take the time to do your nails and do your journaling. And you would just spend more time pouring into yourself because you would be alone a little bit more and you would have your affairs in order because you would be still living on your own. You would still have your independence or your understanding. You want to be filled with life before you commit to marriage. You don't want to go into marriage like this. Or you could end up moving in with him and you never get married and then you just screwed yourself and you just wasted a bunch of years, okay, and time and money. So next. So basically what I'm trying to say is there is nothing wrong with, being with sort of the wrong man or picking any kind of man. If you're it doesn't even have to be just having fun or a fling. If you're just dating, have fun. I think everyone should try to have as many different kinds of relationships to different people as possible. That is what makes life interesting. But if it is getting serious and you are having zero net benefits from being with this man, then it is a complete waste of your time. If you are trying to label it as serious and you are not benefiting. What are benefits? Well, financial benefits, social benefits, as in social status.
I'm trying to think of some more benefits. Honestly, I can't think of any more benefits than that. Because, men are really only useful for a couple things. Money, protection. Sometimes they're really funny, okay? Maybe he's really funny. But, you don't need to be giving him, a nickel and dime because he's funny, okay? So I'm just being honest here. I mean, I could try to scratch the surface. The whole point of this video, which I'm going to get into, is that you have more to offer him than he will ever have to offer you. Even if he is a billionaire, you will still have more to offer, and I will get into that. So if you're in the comments like the Thought Bunny, why couldn't you name more stuff that men can give us? Well, it's because men only have so much to give, okay? Next star.
Marriage was always transactional. Now, this is not something I have to repeat or reiterate. Everyone knows that back in the ye olden days, right? Back in the olden days, marriage was a transactional thing. So you have to ask yourself, what are you benefiting now that marriage has been taken out of that context in the modern day? And I will get into this, sort of how the patriarchy has repackaged marriage to women and girls, okay? So I have a lot of points here. Now, first of all, what is a man benefiting from either being in a committed relationship with you? And when I say committed, I mean really serious, like it's allegedly supposed to lead to marriage. What is a man benefiting from a relationship with you? Well, he is getting emotional regulation. Men do not, the average man, whenever I say all men, I just mean the majority, okay, 3/4. Most men do not know how to emotionally regulate themselves. They do not know how to sit down and breathe. They do not know how to reflect. They do not journal. A lot of them don't go to therapy, okay? They push it down and they go with the male rhetoric and they do whatever their father taught them, okay? And you might be thinking, oh, what if their mother taught them? Well, just having a mom that cared about your emotions is not the same as a mother that taught her son how to deal with his emotions independently, okay? Because all that means, if his mom just taught him that it's okay to be vulnerable, that means that he's used to going to his mommy when he has issues, and then he will get used to going to you, okay? Men, if you've seen any TV show or movie, what always happens? The man, the husband, the boyfriend, he goes to said woman. Doesn't even have to be a woman he's in a relationship with. It could also be a mistress. The man goes to mistress, a wife, girlfriend, for comfort when he's down in the dumps, when he didn't get the promotion, when he got fired, when someone died and he doesn't know how to react or properly grieve. He goes to the woman to emotionally regulate himself. Are you understanding? Women are a safe space for men. But most men in male-dominated spaces are not safe spaces for women. Okay? Why do you think gay men only feel safe in female-dominated spaces? Because women are safe spaces for everyone. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? If men were emotional regulators and they made people feel more comfortable, then gay men wouldn't feel the need to have mostly female friends. They would just all be friends with other guys. Is it clicking? Okay. So first of all, a man is benefiting. The first benefit, emotional regulation, a huge one, because a lot of them can't do it on their own, okay? Second, he's getting childcare. If you have kids with him, or if he already has kids and you're dating him or marrying him, he is getting childcare. Even if he's also taking care of the kids, you are going to be taking on the mother role. And traditionally, mothers do more, okay? First of all, women are better at taking care of kids. Most women, okay? Some women really do not have that maternal instinct and touch. I do. A lot of females do, okay? So you're going to be the mom of these children, whether it's in a literal sense, you're actually their mom, or it's in a metaphorical, not metaphorical, it'll still be a physical sense, or whether you're taking on the mom role, okay? Even if you're convincing yourself and he's telling you, oh, we're going to do 50-50, like I'm going to be there for the kids, you're still going to be their mom. Which means they're going to be going to you for all of the things that your mom... Think about all the stuff your mom did for you. If your mom left you, just think of a movie or something, okay? Moms do a lot. So that's the second thing he's benefiting from. Third thing, cooking and cleaning. I know what you're thinking. Oh, just because I move in with my boyfriend doesn't mean I'm going to be cooking and cleaning for him. I'm not Rory Gilmore. Remember that episode, Rory and Dean, when he was like, oh, I like a housewife, yada, yada, right? Now, here's the thing, okay? If you have a dad and a brother, or if you have multiple brothers and a father that are all lazy slobs, okay? Not saying anything, but I'm saying something, right? If you have men in your family that are lazy slobs, you know, first of all, weaponized incompetence, which I'm not going to reiterate because it's been talked about a lot on the internet, okay? Men pretending like they don't know how to do things so that you do it. Because it's going to get done if you do it. And you do it better. Honestly, sometimes when men pretend like they don't know how to do things, they do. But they're still bad at it even if they did do it, okay? Men are just bad at doing things, okay? They don't have motor skills. Half of these men do not have fine motor skills, okay? So you are probably... If you move in with a man and you're in a long... What is happening? No! Did you guys see that? Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. The makeup isn't makeuping. What do you think? Sorry for making that face. Okay, let's continue. Let's not get off track. Let's not get sidetracked, okay?
Even if you move in... Okay, let's say you're in a committed relationship, right? And he's like, baby, let's move in together. You're like, okay. So you move in with this man. You're going into it thinking you won't be cooking and cleaning because I'm not a housewife. But then guess what? There's no food in the fridge. There's no food in the fridge. Guess what's in the fridge? 1 beer and peanut butter. Okay? And some of his fucking protein shakes and meats, okay? There is gonna be no core food groups in the fridge, bro. Even if this man knows how to grocery shop, you know what men buy? Men do not grocery shop for families or for a couple. They don't grocery shop with the idea that multiple people will be eating this food. They literally grocery shop specific hyperfixation foods that they eat. Weird protein mix stuff, okay? And cheap brands, cheap disgusting brands that you do not want to eat. Do you think that your man is going to be buying you organic kale? know. He probably doesn't even know organic, okay? If your man can't tell the difference between regular milk, oat milk, soy milk, and almond milk, then he's not going to be a good grocery shopper, okay? There's going to be no food in the fridge. He's not going to want to do the dishes. You're going to end up doing them because you're getting pissed off. I'm telling you, you might not become full housewife, but men benefit from your cleaning abilities and your cooking abilities, because women are, I don't want to say we're biologically inclined to do that, but we just traditionally throughout society have been conditioned to do it. We've been taught by our mothers to do it, and we are honestly just better at it, okay? So that is the third benefit. So just to reiterate, emotional regulation, childcare, cooking, and cleaning. Next, he benefits from your creativity, okay? There are a lot of men who do not know how to have fun, okay? So even if he's planning the dates, which he should, remember, never plan a date ever. I guess if you've been dating, obviously if you're in a committed relationship already, that's fine. But I'm just saying, if you are in the dating stage, do not plan dates, okay? He must be doing these things. Remember, they like the chase, okay? They are animals. You need to engage with them while they chase and pursue you. Otherwise, they're going to lose interest, okay? But anyways, so he's benefiting from your female feminine creativity. Whether that is, you're planning dinner parties that he gets to be a part of because you are now a couple, you're a unit. You are going to socially represent him, okay? All of your little feminine creative things that you do, outings, dinner parties, I don't know, let's go to this fancy new restaurant that you know about because you read about culinary new restaurants. Like art museum, I don't know, whatever. He's going to benefit from your creativity. One of the most prominent ones is when you get married and the woman, decorates the house. And when people come over, or when he's just living in the house is going to be beautiful, and the furniture is going to match, and everything is going to look so white picket fence because you're there. Because your feminine, natural creativity made the house, it's going to get real Hallmark in here, you made the house a home because you are a woman and you know what you're doing. Women know how to make houses homes. Women know how to breathe life into things. That is why men want us in their life, because we make their lives feel worth it. We make their successes feel like we complete them, okay? We make them satisfied. Are you understanding? So he benefits from emotional regulation, childcare, cooking, cleaning, creativity. Last one. There's obviously tons more, but just, these are the prominent ones. Helping his career flourish. A lot of women, which I'll get into this when I talk about the 3 main wives, okay, that men will have. Women aid men in their careers taking off, okay? Whether that's, they're at home with the kids. Like, think of Kieran Culkin. He's getting his Emmy/Golden Globe. In his speech, he's saying to his wife, "Hey, baby, I want another one."
No pressure. I love you. I'm really sorry I did this again. And let's get cracking on those kids. What do you say? I love you. I love you, Sisu and Booba. I love you, 50.
Okay? He is over here doing Succession, the TV show, doing his little movies with that dude who played Mark Zucker. Okay? He's over here doing his films, going to the Oscars, getting nominated, while his wife is at home with the 3 chickadees. Are you understanding, okay? So, not just though in the, sort of concrete sense of the woman being at home and that while the man goes off and does his career, but women, when they stand by their man and they're committed to a man, men are just naturally more successful when they are with a good woman. It is just proven, okay? So next, we're going to get into the next section of this video. Okay, 20 minutes into the video, almost 20 minutes in. This is my second section, okay? We're finally going to get... Oh, actually, no. Sorry. Third section, we're going to talk about the 3 wives. Bear with me, okay? Now, I want to talk about sort of the original marriages. So, in the OG marriages, aka the ye olden days, right? The men, not the men, the fathers, okay? The fathers, father figure, George Michael, okay? The fathers would sell their daughters if they were poor. Let me make that distinction. If the family was poor, okay, the fathers would typically sell their daughters to another man for 3 cattle, 10 pigs, I don't know, a shack, whatever, right? Everything was very transactional. And in our modern society, especially in America, okay, because in other countries, especially Asian countries, it is still normal not to sell your daughter. That's not what I'm saying. But it is still normal to look at marriage as an opportunity to get a better life. But in America, these loser American men want to, well, all men all across the globe can be losers, of course. But these dusty men, especially in America, they are trying, oh, well, I don't want to say that. You know what? The dusty men are everywhere. It's sort of an epidemic. But the dusty American men, okay, they are trying to sell you this new idea of marriage, and that is what I'm trying to deconstruct to you right now. So in the ye olden days, right, the dads would sell their daughters, but now marriage is viewed through the love lens. Now, this is a term I have created, the love lens. The love lens is sort of a word or a phrase to represent the new ideals of marriage. That marriage is for love. And you shouldn't care about, the man's status or his money or, where he's been, what he's done. No. You're marrying for love. Love is the most important thing. Who cares what's in his Wells Fargo account, okay? That is the love lens. And it is hypocrisy. And it is propaganda is the right word, okay? Now, for the rich people in the ye olden days, they would marry off their sons to rich, beautiful women or royalty. That was if the family was sort of in debt. Now, in the ye olden days, right, even the previously rich families, as they get down the line, if they have accrued a lot of debt throughout the generations, they will of course still pretend like they're rich. So you see a lot of fairy tales and movies and real life stories where the man is secretly poor, right? So the family finds a really rich woman for him to marry, like an aristocrat or whatever, and it just sort of help out the family, okay? So, if the son's a little bit poor, they want to marry him off to a rich, beautiful woman or royalty. And if he's rich, obviously it'll be even easier to marry him off to a rich, beautiful woman because he's already in the same circle, okay? So this is typical, right? And of course, rich people still do this, but this is just what would happen in the olden days, okay? For the women, for the daughters, they would marry their daughter off to someone of high status, a man of high status. I said this wrong. No, it's fine, whatever. Also, they would marry off their sons to women who were healthy. Why? Because they wanted them to make a lot of babies, okay? Young and healthy. I forgot to say that. Anyways, they would marry the daughters off to rich men of high status who had a good social standing and a good reputation. You also have to remember that. There was some note I have about reputation, but I'll get into it later. Okay, so now here is what I'm saying. Men are now marketing marriage through the love lens instead of for what it really is, okay? And when men in the patriarchy now market marriage, the ideals of marriage, through the love lens, this allows them to bring less to the table, okay? Less money, less status, less manners, heavy on manners, the dusties, okay? Etc. Okay? When you market the whole construct of marriage, you see those TikToks of people getting married and stuff, okay? When you market marriage through the love lens, that it's all about love, okay? It's gonna be like Cameron Diaz, Jude Law in here. When you market it this way, it allows the modern man to provide less, because oh my gosh, They are convincing you that the prize is not a comfortable life, high social status, money, etc. means money, right? That was the prize before. Women were looking to marriage for survival because they could not work. Women were not allowed to work. Women were not allowed to get an education. So the purpose of getting married was to provide not only for themselves and set them up for a comfortable life, but also to provide for their family if the man was really that rich, right? But now, modern marriage has brainwashed women into thinking that the prize is no longer a comfortable life, but the man himself. Modern marriage has convinced you that the prize of marriage and the purpose of it is that you are getting love. Excuse me, love is not a commodity. I actually wrote a whole poem about that. I'm actually a poet, if you don't know. Love is not a commodity, okay? Women were getting married because they were receiving commodities. They were receiving a comfortable life because they had no other choice. Now, the reason why we need to revisit what marriage is really about is because we have money now. Women can go to work. Women can get an education. Women have rights now. We can vote. So why are we letting, when we did not the civil rights movement, God, when we did the women's suffrage movement and all of these feminist movements, the patriarchy secretly slipped in like a snake, okay, and they told you, whoa, hey, just forget about all these ye olden days. Forget about 1800s, 1600s, forget about all the Renaissance, forget about what marriage used to be about. Forget about the original purpose of it and everything that you used to get out of it. Forget about that. No. Ladies, you don't want to marry for money. You'll never be happy. Okay? The reason why women were upset in the ye olden days is not because they were marrying for commodities. It was because they were marrying men that they didn't know, that were complete strangers, and that they didn't even like. Okay? Do you think that women back in those days were complaining that much because they didn't love their husband? No, it's because they hated their husband. It's because they didn't even like him, and it's because they were, as James, I miss James, I'm sorry. Not James, as Dave Franco would say, these men were graping them. Like the fruit, graping them, okay? Assaulting them, making them miserable, verbally abusing them, you know what I mean? Accosting them, all of these things, okay? This is why the women were mad, okay? Because they had no other choice. We have choices now. And because we have choices now and freedom as women, we have more freedom, especially in America. I don't want to speak for all countries, but specifically American women, because we have so much freedom, we need to be revisiting marriage, and we need to be more strategical about it, okay? Because otherwise you're going to screw yourself, okay? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, I can just get divorced if it doesn't work out. Yes. Do not minimize how much you can use divorce. You can just get divorced. Never feel like you're trapped, okay? Never be embarrassed that you made a bad decision. But, that should not always be like, oh, I can just get divorced. Maybe let's think a little bit smarter. Let's not think harder, but let's think smarter when we get into the marriage, and then maybe we won't have to get divorced so many times. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Okay. So okay. So next, okay. This is another point I want to make about men. Modern men, okay? Because now when I say their, I mean men. Because all of men's focus is on wooing the woman instead of what they can offer as a package, okay? Now, what I'm trying to say by this is that the modern man, because we have thrown out the original purpose of marriage, which was to give women comfortable lives, because we've now redefined the definition of marriage as fall in love. Love. Okay? Because we have redefined marriage, modern day men only put their focus on wooing the woman, making them fall in love, 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 love. That's their whole focus, instead of focusing on, what am I offering this woman? What is this Amazon package deal she's going to be getting? Is she going to be getting my money? Is she going to be getting my social status? Do I have a good reputation in the circles I inhabit? Do I even have an active social life? Are you even going to be gaining connections from this man? Does he even have any friends? Okay? A lot of men will marry women that have a great family, and then they've just gained parents, siblings, everything, okay? And obviously it's not your fault if you have no family, but a lot of these men do not have strong relationships just with people in general, okay? They don't put enough effort into their relationships. So you're going into the marriage and you're not even gaining any kind of connections or relationships from this man. Okay, you have to stop thinking of the prize of marriage and the pinnacle of marriage being this singular man. What does this man represent? What does this man come with? What kind of life are you going to be given when you get with this man? Because if you're not going to be getting any kind of new life and all you're going to be getting is the man, then guess what he's going to do? He's going to suck all of the energy out of your life. Because if the man is not offering you a life, and he's only offering you his love, which, by the way, didn't cost him anything, then guess what? He's going to be using your beautiful, incredible life that you built. Are you seeing what I'm saying? If he's not offering you a crazy good life, he's just offering himself, then what do you think he's going to be taking from you? He's going to be taking your life. Hello? Okay, so I just got into that. Okay, now we finally got into the wife cycle, which I'm very excited about. I named it. I'm going to coin it right now. So the wife cycle with a W is sort of a play on the life cycle. Get it, right? So the wife cycle is the 3 big wives that men get. Now this is kind of mainly something that rich men are able to attain just because they have more to offer women. Poor men, middle-class men, they might not get to all 3 of these wives. This is kind of predominantly a rich man thing, but it is just a male thing in general, okay? The wife cycle is 3 wives. Now, the first wife is the OG wife, the original wife, okay? This is the first stage of the wife cycle. Now, what sort of constitutes the first wife is you're married to her, a man is married to the first wife for 10 plus years, between 10 and 20 years. Typically around the 15 mark. Actually, it depends on how old he is, but 10 to 20 years, he is married to the woman. Actually, I'll say that, okay, now that the divorce rate is so high, we'll do 8 to 20 years, okay? 8 is like the average marriage nowadays, okay? So he's married to her for over a decade or so. Now, what does this man get out of the first wife? You might be wondering. So he's going to steal her ideas. Now, this happens a lot. There's a lot of rumors about one of the Duffer brothers, the one that got divorced, about how he used his wife's ideas for Stranger Things. She's the woman who did the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix, okay? So the man will sort of use her ideas. Now, this is not a new thing. Don't act surprised, okay? There's tons of documented history of men like F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, Ella Fitzgerald. He stole her idea of The Great Gatsby. Men will steal their scientifically inclined wives' ideas to create scientific discoveries, etc., etc. Okay, so men will sort of use her as their muse, or he'll just flat out steal her ideas. She will be putting in all of the work to be building him up into the great man that he becomes. She's going to have his kids, which is if men don't have kids, then they have to have a really successful career. It's just the truth, okay? If men are not super duper successful, then their marker as a man in society is having kids, or having had a wife, or having a wife currently. Are you understanding? So kids for a man, a lot of the time the reason why men are not good fathers is because they never really wanted to be fathers. They just wanted kids, because kids are sort of like a cornerstone of life. They're not a cornerstone, they're a marker of their life. It's like, oh, kids, that just boosted my social status, not in like a Not in like a succession sense, like now they're a big shot just because they had kids. Anyone can have kids. I'm just saying, like, as far as life goes, that's like a marker in your life. And also, like, if you have a bunch of daughters, that will increase your longevity. Not that that's what men think about, because men don't realize this, but the more women that are in a man's life, the longer he will live, okay? Women live longer than men because we take better care of ourselves. Have you seen how men eat, what they put into their bodies? Have you ever met a teenage boy? Have you ever met a grown-ass man? Do you see what he eats for breakfast? Bro is eating huevos rancheros at 7 a.m. in the morning. Why do you think he has diabetes? Okay? Anyways, so basically, you understand. I feel like I'm yelling. Let me be quiet for a second. Okay, let me just chill. Okay, anyways, so basically, the first wife, you understand what I'm trying to say. The first wife is just, it's the classic wife. Good examples are Bezos, Jeff Bezos. He was married to this woman for, I want to say, 10 to 15 years. She helped him do Amazon. He paid her, oh my God, millions and millions and millions in their divorce settlement, because I actually think that she owns Amazon stock, or she even owns a part of Amazon, or maybe she sold it back to him. But anyways, OG wife, they always leave her once they get successful. Okay, so that'll take me into the second wife. But another great example is Roger Sterling from Mad Men. He was married to Mona for 20 years or whatever. Probably longer than 20 years, probably 30 years. He had the kid with her, the daughter. She supported him through all of his buffoonery. And guess what? He leaves her because she got old, he got old, but he wants to feel young, and he married a 20-year-old. So that'll take us into the second wife, okay? The second wife is called the level up wife. Just to remind you, the first wife is called the OG wife, and she's the OG. The second wife is called the level up wife, okay? She's called that not only because she's a level up, in a physical sense, because she's always younger and she's always more beautiful than the first wife. Not only because she's just a level up in general, but also because the man has now leveled up, right? So when he first met the OG wife, he was kind of mid, okay? He was all right. He was a nice guy. That's why the OG wife married him. He was a nice guy. But as she stuck with him and fed into him and fed her beautiful energy into him and did a bunch of physical labor because she was trying to be a good wife, he has now leveled up 20 years later. 8 to 20 years later, he is leveled up. He's successful. He has a business. He makes more money, etc., etc. And now, you know what? He's bored. He's like, what the fuck am I doing? I want the hot wife. It's my time. I'm the man. Now he has this ego boost, okay? So he is ready for the second wife. She's hot, super hot. She's young, usually 10 or more years younger than him, depending on how old he is. Okay, if he's like 40, she's probably in her early 30s or her late 20s, etc., etc. Okay, we've seen this with so many celebrity men. I'm not going to name names. We've seen this just in general. Okay, men always do this. Okay, the hot young wife. Okay, now the purpose of the hot young wife is not only to feed his newfounded ego and to make him feel. She's sort of there to reaffirm that he has leveled up in life, that he's now successful, okay? So she's for showing off. She's the arm candy. She's sort of basically, it's the trophy wife, right? She's quite literally a trophy. She is there as a physical reminder that he is now a completely new man, that he is just so great. He's a king, okay? Now, the third wife, which is the final stage of the wife cycle, a man will only acquire a third wife if he is slightly emotionally mature. He somehow didn't, regress, but he sort of increased his emotional maturity. Or maybe this will just happen because the second wife left him and it feels really lonely. So it either happens because he's lonely and he needs a new wife, or because he actually reached emotional maturity. So it'll be one of those two reasons. So the third wife is called the age-appropriate wife. I don't have a better name for her. The AAW, okay, the A&W, okay? The A&W wife, age-appropriate wife, is the final destination wife, okay? She's closer to his age, usually never his same age, but she's no more than 10 years younger than him. And if he's like 60, then 50 is not that crazy, okay? So she's closer to his age. She's still beautiful. She's still great, you know, but she is just sort of like, she's like if he had stayed with the OG wife, basically. She's like the woman that he should have been, like, stayed with to begin with. She's just a replacement of the OG wife. He's sort of reached the full cycle and understood finally that he's not 20 years old and that he can't get away with who he was trying to pretend to be. And typically he will get with a third wife because the second wife left him because she realized that marrying an old rich man was really not all she thought it was going to be. Or it's because he divorced the hot young wife because she was just too immature or just wasn't working out. They were having too many marital problems. Probably because, you know, being with someone half your age, you know, oftentimes doesn't work because you want completely different things, right? Your goals don't align. Or, you know, sometimes he'll just feel really insecure with the hot young wife and his ego won't be able to handle it. But with the third wife, he can handle that. It just makes it just makes sense in every form of the word. It just makes sense. The third age-appropriate wife. So that is the wife cycle broken down. Some men never reach the full cycle. But yeah. Anyways. Also, okay, anyways, yeah. We're gonna move on. Okay. So, basically sort of my motto that I want you, if you don't take anything away from this video, sorry, I realize I sound really, like, congested. I'm getting off of a cold. But if you don't take away anything from this video, remember this. You do not want to be a master Lego builder. Now, I know what you're thinking. The thought bunny. What the hell is a master Lego builder? Now, if you're from SoCal, if you're from Southern California, you've probably been to Legoland. Or if you're not from SoCal, you've probably been to Legoland. Now, Legoland, the Lego, what are they called? It's just called Lego, right? The Lego company in general, they hire master builders. So they are people who are super skilled at building Legos, okay? You do not, in your romantic life, you do not want to be a Lego master builder. Your purpose is not to, you know, pick out your Lego set, aka your man, and build him from the ground up. That is not your job. That is not your job, because you're going to be stepping on the Legos, hurting your feet. It's going to take forever to build. Like if you've ever tried to build that Death Star thing, that Star Wars, I don't know Star Wars, but if you've ever tried to build a really difficult Lego set, okay, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to end up forgetting a piece, putting the wrong piece in, okay? It's going to be a mess, okay? I'm telling you. You do not want to make yourself the Lego master builder. You want to buy a pre-made Lego set. Okay, and this is not to say that men can't have flaws or that you need to find the perfect man. That's not possible. I'm just saying, do not waste your time. Look, here's the thing. If he's not perfect, then don't marry him yet, okay? And when I say perfect, I just mean that he has goals and he's going after them, okay? He does not have to be a millionaire when you marry him. That's okay. But if he is not working hard, if he is not taking on the provider male role and stepping into masculine energy and protecting you physically, emotionally, all of that stuff, then you're wasting your time, okay? And you need to not marry him in a legally binding contract, okay? I'm not saying you need to marry a man who's perfect. That doesn't exist. There's nothing wrong. Every human being has flaws, traumas, issues, but you need to not be with someone who's going to make all of his issues your issues and then going to ruin your life, okay? Obviously, you should help your partner, but not to the detriment of your own success, okay? Okay, so a lot of women will say stuff like this. Steve may be an English teacher, but he loves me so much. Like, he's the love of my life. He's just my hubby. If any woman says, oh, my husband may be this, and my husband may do this, but I just love him so much, you know what she's done? She has commodified his love for her. She's convinced herself that this marriage was worth it because he loves me so much. Guys, anyone can love you, bro. I'm telling you, like, that's why I told you, men and women, you will have the three big loves. You will love each person the same amount. It's just one person you are the most compatible with. And that is why the love has turned into a big life together. Okay? Don't misconstrue that, okay? So whenever women do stuff like this and they say that, you know what they're doing? They're over-splaining. You know when people say mansplaining? They are over-splaining for their bad choices, for their bad romance choices, okay? They're over-explaining. Oh, you know, John may be a janitor, but I just love him so much. He loves me. I've never had a man love me this much. If I was a janitor, I would love you a lot too, because I wouldn't have much going on. You know, men who are dusty, who don't work hard, and who make excuses for themselves and for why they're at this point in their life. Oh, my mom did this. Oh, my best friend died when I was 4. I don't know. I don't know. I gambled away all my money, whatever the hell they're saying to you, okay? When men make excuses and they are dusty, okay, they have a lot of room and a lot of energy left and a lot of, time to love you so much because they're not doing anything else. Of course he loves you. Of course you've never had anyone love you this much. Because what else is he doing with his time? Okay? If a man is not, super duper successful, he's spending 20% of his time working on himself and his life, which his life is supposed to be for you too. So he's only spending 15 to 20% of his time actually working, and he's spending 80% of his time loving you. Where's that going to get you in the long run? Okay? Next. You may have all of this energy now to provide 50-50 or to pick a man who's a fixer-upper. And you may have time and the energy because you're a young, hot chicken, right? You're a spring chicken or whatever. You may have time right now to compensate for your man. But what about when you're 40 years old? What about when you're 35? What about when you're 50, 60? When you marry, because marriage is a commitment, or when you are you're truly putting time and energy into this man, you need to think about it like a business deal. How much am I getting versus how much am I giving? Okay, am I getting as much as I'm giving? Am I getting more out of this business deal? Think of marriage like a business deal. Am I getting more out of this than I'm giving? If you're getting even more out of this business deal than you're giving him, that is a great deal. If you're getting equal amount, that's still a good deal. If you're getting less, anything less than what you're giving, no deal. No deal on the table, okay? It's like Shark Tank, okay? So you can't just think, oh, I'm 25 years old. His idiosyncrasies and his idiotic tendencies don't bother me right now. He's a sweet guy. Sorry, I'm going to drink some water. I'm sorry.
Wow, that tastes good. Make sure to drink your water, ladies.
Anyways, you cannot just think about the present moment. Even though I urge you to be in the present, if I was just giving you life advice, I would of course tell you to be in the present, to not stress about the future, etc., etc. But when it comes to serious romantic relationships, you cannot think about how 25-year-old Rebecca feels right now. You need to think about how 50-year-old Rebecca is going to feel when she's still overcompensating for this dusty man. Because you're not going to have the energy for him when you're 40, 35, or 50. It might feel great right now because you're young. But when you're middle-aged or old, it's not going to be the same. Okay? Okay, and that's how you end up in a marriage that you hate and you're miserable, okay? Now, this is my last page. Don't fret. This is my last page, okay? This is my last piece of advice surrounding this whole topic, okay? Do not think for one moment, that he won't get jealous of you. It takes a very emotionally regulated man and a very special man to not be jealous of women, okay? Notice how I did not say it takes a good man or it takes a nice man. There are so many good and nice men that I know that get jealous of women. Okay, I got cut off because my phone ran out of storage because that was a really long video. But I'm just going to finish on the iPad, so ignore the video quality. It don't matter. So basically, I'm on the last page. Don't even freak out, okay? Don't even freak out. Okay. As I was saying, good men kind men, men that you love, okay, and I'm not just talking about romantic, I'm talking about your dad or whoever, they will still get jealous of women, okay? Men love to get jealous of women, okay? So, when you have to think of it, and I know that every girl or woman watching this is going to know what I'm talking about, unless you just had an angel of a mom, okay? When your mom got jealous of you when you were a teenager and said those passive-aggressive things to you and started acting up, the same thing could happen with a boyfriend or husband. The same kind of thing. Okay, so if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you're like, why would my boyfriend or husband, or why would my potential boyfriend or husband, my metaphysical, metaphorical partner get jealous of me? Why would a man be jealous of me? The same way your mom was jealous of you when you were prettier and younger and doing better than her in life, okay? So, just as he's a reflection of you in the marriage/relationship, you are a reflection of him, okay? Which we all know, but you know. And if you're more successful career-wise, you won't be the trophy. What? I think I'm trying to say you won't be the trophy that he wanted, okay? Now, the whole definition of a trophy wife is that she looks good on the outside, but she's still not outshining the man. She's complimenting the man. Are you understanding? Let me paint a simple picture. Rich, successful, white man, okay? He's standing here. Hey, my name's Christopher Goggins. And here's my wife. Isn't she a fox? Okay? She's younger. Slim Jim. Body yaddy yaddy. Not in like a Megan Thee Stallion way, but more like a, Giselle Bundchen way. Giselle, okay? Body yaddy yaddy model-esque. Like a gazelle, okay? She is signaling to other men, hey, I'm special. She is a signal to other men, his equals, or whatever, that I'm a great guy, and I'm worth a lot, because look at this wife I managed to get, okay? A man is worth 100 times more when he is with a good woman. 100 times more. A man is instantly worth way more. He skyrockets past the sunroof of this car when he is with a good woman, okay? So you have to get that, okay? So if you are more successful than him in your career, right? If you were, I don't know, maybe you're CEO, COO, CFO, vice president of whatever, working at Google, I don't know, or you're an actress or whatever, you're not going to be the trophy no more. It doesn't matter if you're beautiful, because all of a sudden you're more successful than him. Okay, and a lot of men won't like that. So this is not me saying, oh, I'm screwed if I'm more successful than him. No, I'm just saying don't pick a man that's going to be like this, okay? Don't pick a dusty man who's naturally going to end up acting like that and sabotaging you down the line and picking at you. He's not going to just straight up divorce you just because you're more successful, or he's going to be straight up, very explicit and be like, oh, I just hate you. No. He's going to think that subconsciously. Maybe he won't even consciously recognize that he's jealous of you. He's going to subconsciously start picking you, bringing you down, being bad, bringing bad energy into the home. Okay? You're going to feel the energy shift, okay? You don't need that kind of energy in your life, okay? Last thing. When men want a great wife, okay, what they really mean is a woman who other men will want. Okay, a woman who's beautiful. Okay, when men think, 2 kids and a wife, that's what I want. They're not thinking I want boss bitch wife who's a lawyer. No man is dreaming of the lawyer wife. No, he wants a woman who's gonna be like, babe, you're like so like smart. Like, you're so talented. Like, I'm just like so lucky to be with you. Like, oh my God. I'm so happy. Like, thank you for dinner the other night. Like, thank you for this necklace. Like, Swarovski. Like, how did you know I like Swarovski? Like, that's what they want. That's what they want, okay? So you need to pick wisely, okay? Do not be afraid to be picky, okay? Because you are the commodity. You have so much more to offer men than they will ever have to offer you. And this is something that I brought up in the beginning of this video. Even if he's mega rich, even if he is Jeff Bezos rich, right? Let's think of Jeff Bezos, right? He's the richest man in the world, billionaire, corrupt, whatever. We're not going to get into the politics of it. We know that man is we know he took I didn't watch The Matrix yet, but he took whatever pill is bad. The red pill, I don't know. Whatever. But, I mean, his wife is not typical trophy wife. She's actually really close to his age. They might even be almost the same age, right? But, like, to him, like, she is, like, making his life better. Because what would, like, making Amazon and being ultra rich and successful even mean if he doesn't have a woman who's waiting for him at home? Or he doesn't have a woman to bring to all of his, rich billionaire yacht parties? Or he doesn't have a woman to snuggle up with when he's watching the Stranger Things finale? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Like, if a man does not have a woman to comfort him and emotionally regulate him and witness his successes and confirm that, yes, this is really happening. Like, yes, I really did all of this. He wants a witness to his life. That's why everyone gets married. That's why everyone gets in relationships. That's why everyone gets into committed relationships, because they want a witness to their life. Okay? But men, anyways, whatever. Rich man, poor man, they all want the same thing, okay? They all want the same thing. And women, you will always, like, the cards are in your hands, okay? You are, as everyone says on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere, you are the prize. So you have to think more critically when you are making these kinds of commitments to men. You need to really be looking at the big picture. You need to be looking, how is this going to affect me 20 years down the line? If you're getting married, etc., etc., if things are already a little bit rocky, do I really need to have 3 kids with him? If things are already pretty rocky, you know what I mean? You gotta really think about these things. Okay? I think I made all the points I wanted to make. Make sure to comment, okay? Comment, like, if you disagreed with anything in this video. If you have any real life experience, in marriage, in dating with men, stories you want to share down below, tell them in the comments, okay? Tell them in the comments, talk about it in the comments. What did you disagree with? What did you agree with? Do you think that these things I brought up are true? Do you think that we do need to be more critical in the dating world? Do you think that the whole idea of marriage has kind of been sold to us to benefit men? Right? Because who is benefiting from the whole idea of, oh, you got to marry for love? Men are benefiting from it because they're convincing you that you don't need to expect more of them. And they're convincing you that that's all that marriage is about, And they're also reducing you to love also. And making women forget that they complete men, right? So that's all just a lie, in my opinion. But, you can kind of duke it out, debate in the comments. And then comment what else you want to see from me. What else you want me to talk about. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, I made a lot of notes. I make my notes. I'm very proud of them. TTB, the thought buddy. Okay, TTB.
Do you have burning questions running through your mind? Do you want to know the answers about the universe, time, love, or the trivialities of pop culture? Well, you've come to the right place. The Thought Bunny is an entity, a space, a girl, the Thought Bunny has an answer to all of your biggest questions. So ask away.